AITAH for refusing to spend Christmas with my in-laws because my children get bullied? I am not OOP. OOP is you, suspicious minds. Originally posted to our AITAH. AITAH for refusing to spend Christmas with my in-laws because my children get bullied? Trigger warnings. Bullying. Emotional abuse and manipulation. Verbal abuse. Physical abuse. Less than. And NBSP. Original post December 20th, 2023. We have 2 children F5 and M6 and my sister-in-law. My husband's sister has 2 children M10 and M9. And every time we visit, they hurt my children in one way or another. Both physical and emotional bullying. This time I told my husband that I didn't want to spend Christmas with his family. He got upset because he doesn't want to lose his family. He is close to his mom and sister since they lost their father when my husband was 10. Also, my mother-in-law favors SIL's children and they get more and more expensive gifts. As long as my children were small I didn't care. Now they notice when their pile from granny is much smaller than their cousins. He says if we start not attending big holidays etc. this will put a wedge, but I don't care. I don't want my babies to associate the holidays with negative feelings and being hurt. I don't even want to compromise, negotiate nor meet them halfway. AITAH? AITAH has no consensus bot. But based on the comments, OOP was NTA. Relevant comments. Peak Penguins. He got upset because he doesn't want to lose his family. Then what has he done to try to prevent his children being bullied? OOP. Discussions with his loser sister and loser mother about why the children are bullies. Admirable that he cares. I applaud him for trying to help his nephews, but clapping hands medium skin tone, not clapping hands medium skin tone, by clapping hands medium skin tone, using clapping hands medium skin tone, my clapping hands medium skin tone, children clapping hands medium skin tone as clapping hands medium skin tone, guinea clapping hands medium skin tone, pigs clapping hands medium skin tone. Flounder solid 2659, NTA. But can you clarify the emotional and physical bullying? Sometimes kids call each other names and hit each other. But it's not really that bad. It doesn't mean your child will be scarred for forever. As long as you comfort them and make the aggressor apologize. Do you and your husband step in when this happens? How do the children's parents address it? OOP. Like my daughter now has a permanent scar on her cheek right below her eye because one of the boys scratched her face very badly. Shoving, locking in closets and turn off the lights, calling my children ugly, making fun of their hair, threatening to beat my boy. My husband gets upset and try to tell the children off. My in-laws pretend that they will do something. Boys will be boys. Puzzled Pizza 393. That's a huge difference. Good on you for stopping this. Kids will notice. Can't figure how grandparents think this is appropriate behavior. Hurting their own innocent grandchildren. OOP. I asked once if they couldn't just try to exchange gifts before we arrived and then only have one gift each for each child in front of my children so they don't notice the favoritism, but my loser mother-in-law started yelling and calling me gold digger. Nobody involved has gold to dig. We are all hard-working people. Snoo Words 4839. Can you take the kids to your family? Let him deal with them. Protect your kids, and Mill is a BTCH who doesn't deserve to see your kids. OOP. I don't have any family, unfortunately. I was disowned by them because I chose a man outside of my ethnicity and faith, so I can't count on any support there. And NBSP. Update December 25th, 2023. I'll just get right into it since I have already made a post and comments about my situation. My husband chose to spend Christmas with his family. He called and told them that he was coming alone this Christmas, and I heard his mother yelling over The phone telling him that I was the devil, ruining the family traditions. Anyway, it seemed like she didn't tell him not to come. My husband said that our children are too small to understand, so we can pretend Christmas is when he gets home on the 27th. He drove yesterday, 8h, but when he arrived, nobody was there, so he got worried and called them a number of times, but nobody answered. He called me freaking out, so I told him to text his mom that he was going to call the police to make a wellness check. Only then the loser called him back telling him that they had booked an apartment on a skiing resort and had gone earlier that day and they're spending the holidays skiing. He got home early this morning and he tried to fight with me and put the blame on me because I refused to let my children celebrate with their family. I stopped him right there, telling him that I wasn't the one ghosting him and that if he wanted any chance to have a happy family, this was his. People had shown him what they were and the lengths they can go to hurt and humiliate others when slighted. I have had a wonderful weekend, however. The children were happily surprised by Dad's presence and we had a Christmas lunch with my closest friend and her youngsters. Now we are making pizza, because I thought Christmas was gonna be on the 27th and didn't prepare. Now I think the in-laws have come to the realization that they had went too far, because they have been calling and texting my husband all evening. I even heard his loser mom crying. I made it clear they were not welcome here. If they think they can come and apologize to my husband for making him drive to an empty house. And I made it even clearer that I will never have them in my or my children's life. I will start my own Christmas tradition for my little family, and it will not be 2 days after. I told him that I wanted this clear so he can make his choices and how to proceed with his life and who he thinks are more important to him. I am done having losers in my life. Merry Christmas. Relevant comments. Fat bloke 4. Christ. His parents are crazy. He tried to fight with me and put the blame on me because I refused to let my children celebrate with their family. I hope he has apologized for this. You aren't to blame for his mother's ludicrous behavior. Anyway, good for you. Op. Best wishes for many Christmases without in-laws. Oop. He hasn't apologized, no, but to be fair, I told him that I refused to ruin my day in any discussion or talk, and that he should really think before opening his mouth with me, because whatever he says and decides next is going to decide our future together, so he agreed to give us a break. ADL Mama. I'm awed by your strength and I hope you have a wonderful and peaceful holiday. I hope your husband chooses wisely. Why in the world was his mom crying when she caused the trauma? Was it because he didn't drive to the resort and bend the knee in front of her? Face with rolling eyes. Oop. I think she thought he wouldn't just drive home like he did. I don't know, maybe he would apologize or try to have them come back or go after them. They didn't tell him they had already made plans and left. What a bunch of loser psychos. I felt so sorry for him because he was so hurt. And NBSP. This is a repost sub. I am not oop. Why in the world was his mom crying when she caused the trauma? That's what they end up doing always. Good to see that Op and the kids had a good Christmas, but wow. The husband's family is insane. Enabling bullying to OP's kids is just awful. I am happy that Op has made a good decision to stay away from that loser family. Husband really needs to grow a spine and choose wisely for what's best for his wife and kids. He also needs to apologize to Op for blaming her, cause that's just uncalled for. My husband said that our children are too small to understand, so we can pretend Christmas is when he gets home on the 27th. They're 5 and 6? I wouldn't say too small. With these in-laws, I really feel like the cruelty is the point. When they couldn't inflict psychological and physical harm on Oop and her kids. They spit the dummy and decided to cause more drama and inflict more harm. Shame on the mill. The Sil and OOP's partner. Seems obvious that Oop and her children are being treated this way because they're a different race. And her husband is a-okay with that. That's a deal-breaker to me. Full stop. He tried to fight with me and put the blame on me because I refused to let my children celebrate with their family. Apparently in that entire 8-hour drive back it never occurred to him that in order for his family to rent a place and go skiing on Christmas they would have had to have reserved the place days in advance. We all know it's damn near impossible to rent a place to stay to go skiing the day before or the day of Christmas. So his family had tried to up the psychological damage by a 1000% when they did this to hurt him, his kids, and Op when they showed up. They had less than 5 days notice that she and the kids weren't coming, and I think that's why his mother threw such a crocodile tear hissy fit over the phone when he told her it was going to be just him coming. She couldn't stick it to Op and the kids once again. I hope that Op gives him the 2-card initiative. Husband needs counseling because he needs to get his head screwed on straight before he loses her. And the kids. They don't need that kind of toxicity, and he's just piling it on right along with the rest of his family. Can you imagine getting disowned by your own family for marrying your husband? And then your husband can't grow a spine against his own abusive family? Oop deserves so much better. Oop's husband is so desperate for familial approval that he's willing to sacrifice his kids on an altar to placate them. The fact that he answered their calls after he drove 16 hours shows that he's still willing to let them back into their lives. This isn't over, and I can see him just taking the kids next year. Without OOP's approval, they really need to sit down and work out if they still want to spend their lives together. Because this isn't over. I hope for the husband's sake he comes out of that fog. Dude needs some therapy. The OOP's spine is so shiny that you can see it from space, and I love it. 10 out of 10 handling of that situation. I wanted this clear so he can make his choices and how to proceed with his life and who he thinks are more important to him. I am done having losers in my life. He made his choice. I hope the next update involves divorce papers. Calling my children ugly. Making fun of their hair. I was disowned by them because I chose a man outside of my ethnicity. Kinda buried the lead there. Huh? Plain old racism. If this nasty prank of his family followed up by what Oop said didn't open his eyes, then I don't think anything will. I'm not even sure that this marriage is salvageable anyway. This reads like Oop is done with her husband emotionally. And that's typical. Women tend to check out of a marriage before they go for divorce, while the men in those same marriages are all, what happened? Where did this come from? They usually don't figure out that the wife is through with them until the divorce has happened, and the wife is seriously dating someone else. Then they still can't believe it's over and that the wife doesn't want their special self back. And I don't blame Oop at all. Being married to someone who allows his own children to get hurt and bullied, who chooses his mom and sister over his wife and children. I wouldn't want to be married to that. The mere idea makes my skin crawl. He would repulse me. The husband's got one chance here to save his family, but I don't think he'll take it because I don't think he understands that this is his last chance. I chose a man outside of my ethnicity. Well, that explains the bullying, etc. Ops in-laws are racist as well as trash. For the love of, there is a war in comments. So many people didn't bother to read first post and blamed Oop. 1. I suspect Mill is still too busy fighting. No comment on abuse or scar, of course. I wonder what's the excuse for planning this behind his back. Like the guy was dumb enough to choose this off family over his own. And yet they went and do this? They have him trapped with their BS. And now they might even lose their power over him. This husband clearly chose who he values more, and it's incredibly pathetic. If he doesn't do anything soon, he will lose the only people who clearly genuinely care for him. It's just so gross. Husband is the biggest loser of them all. Calling his family losers when she is married to biggest one of all. The dum-dum had to threaten with a wellness check to get an answer and blames the wife. Imagine Oop got disowned by her family for him, but he can't even choose her and their kids? Question mark. Question mark. I'm done having losers in my life. God damn, I love this woman.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AITAH is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.